Hello everybody, it's Farm Sim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Bull's Gap. It's another busy day here. We're bringing this trailer back from up where the greenhouse was. We were using it to fill with manure and seeds, but now we've got the little international truck. We're going to use that because it's a little bit more efficient than using this one. So this is going to be utilised for, I don't know, just running stuff, maybe a little bit of harvest time storage, collecting crops off the ground after combines pick them up, whatever we want to use it for. Just a little bit of a run around trailer now. We do have bigger and better trailers to utilise, so it's just a bit of a workhorse now. It's kind of, we're finding this now with some of the machinery as we expand the farm and we're needing bigger machinery, that some of the older stuff just doesn't get used as much. So but we're not going to get rid of it. It's still handy to have little trailers like that. Like I said, even the manure here, it's a handy tool just to have available to us. So what have we got on the cards today? Well, if you remember at the end of the last episode, the live stream on Wednesday, we managed to plant the left hand field over here. We filled that with some barley, all ready for the distillery for the next round of harvest, and we said we were going to put some sunflowers in this field here. Now, one of the things I'm keen to do before we plant the sunflowers is probably upgrade our little planter. We've upgraded our seeder already to the nice big 13-metre seeder, so I would quite like to get a little bit of a wider planter if we can. So we're going to have a quick look in the store, see what we can find, and take it from there. So just having a look in here, we have got the 7200, which is the bigger version of the 7000 planter we've got at the moment. Not a mod I've used before, but I think I'm keen to give it a go. Gives us an extra 3 meters of width, which will speed things up, but it also has almost 3 times the storage in the tanks, which for me is an absolute bonus, huge bonus, and price-wise incredibly sensible as well. So I think that's going to be a pretty straightforward swap. What we'll do though, because the seeder is in the way here at the moment, we'll move that out of the way, and we'll find somewhere decent to park that, and then we will come back and purchase that. The other thing we'll do is go and get the planter, which I think we reversed back into the shed in here, and we'll get that sold as well. And I think our overall cost will be very low for replacing this. Hopefully it's a decent planter. Like I said, I've never used it before, but I'm keen to check it out. Now, one other thing we do need to start considering as well is another shed. As you can see, quite a lot of storage space here that we're having to dump stuff in. So I think we'll probably need to consider a new shed very soon as well. But for now, let's just dump this here. We'll come back and get it later on, and then we'll sort the planter out. So in the shed here, there is our planter. We're going to pull him out of the shed now and get him sold. We will need to unload that little bit of fertiliser. We obviously have our own fertiliser now, but I want to make sure that we don't waste stuff for the sake of wasting stuff. So let's get this unloaded and then we'll get this sold. There we go. Both of those empty. Very small bit of seed as well, but every little counts, right? We'll just roll him out of the way. Now this bigger planter also doesn't need a lot of horsepower to run, so we don't need any bigger tractors. We don't need to run the big chunky tractor on it. Let's repair that, and there we go, 7,000. So actually our net loss is only around about 7,000 for the new planter, which is great. So let's go and get it. New planter purchased, so let's get it hooked up and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're just purchasing a few bags of seed here and some liquid fertiliser. I do know we've got the seed point further up on the map, but just for speed at the moment, what I'm thinking of doing is just making sure that we're doing this quickly. Let's buy a couple of those as well. We could jump in the truck and run up there, but I think it's probably easier just to fill these up from these tanks for now. I bought a bit extra there, but that's okay. You can never have too much. Now, further down the line we could purchase all our own stuff from our fertilizer production facility up by the greenhouses there. But I know we're not producing enough for liquid fertilizer at the moment, so we will fill up the sunflowers. We're good to go there. Okay, let's get that into position. But before that, like I said, I'm just going to run the white round it with a little cultivator. Make sure that the edges are tidy. And we're not going to have any issues with bits of the field that we've maybe not ploughed before, so they're not marked as field. We did shift the boundary of the field when we created these bigger fields before, but as it was grass we didn't fill in some of the elements that were non-field. So we're going to fix that just now, make sure we've got all those bits sorted, and then we will get the seeder in there, get the planter in there should I say. So what I'm going to do here is literally we're going to do 3 laps of the course. That's probably all we need to identify where there are bits of the field that maybe need sorting, and then after that we can actually just fill that bit in manually. Nice circle there to get things started, just because of the position I was in the field. But he'll lap the edge of the field now here. Like I said, we've got create fields on at the moment, so any elements that don't fall within the field boundary or the old field boundary will recut now, which is great, and then we'll take things from there. So we're going to let him do his thing for a couple of minutes, and then we will get the sunflowers planting in here as well. So I've just turned Courseplay off. I think we've done enough of the board just to make sure we've captured those edges properly. You can see this slightly more orangey brown seam running through the field. That will not be counted as field at the moment. So with create field still on, we're just going to run over this little edge here, make sure we capture this and cut it into the field, which will allow us to have one big field. And then because we've got a direct drill, we'll be able to plant straight into it. There we go, we're just running the edge here. As you can see, it kind of goes most of the way around the field. We actually have this split into almost what felt like 3 fields. We ran this right around the edge of the original field. So as you can see here, it had a very odd shape to it, so it's kind of nice to be able to rectify this finally. We haven't run it as individual fields for a long time though, so it feels like a long time ago I cut that odd field shape. It was all based around the amount of trees we removed at the time, so like I said, it's nice to be kind of merging this back into one field. A little bit of orange down there that we'll capture as well. Hope we don't miss anything here, because it will show up when we plant. But I think it's quite a narrow strip here other than the end, so we should be able to get all of it in this couple of passes. Certainly there's nothing around here at the moment, So we'll head back up to the end and grab that bit as well, and then we'll be done. Now what I am going to do as well, I'm going to unhitch the John Deere from the new planter. I'm going to let the white do the planting here, because we need that John Deere with its front hitch on it to start mowing in field 10. Our massive field of grass needs cutting, and I'm actually thinking I might do a double cut before we bale it and wrap it. Just depends on how quickly the grass grows, but for me it seems sensible to maximise the amount of grass we've got out there. We don't need anything at the moment, and if we do, we could always just take the little bit that we need for a couple of extra silage bales for the TMR mixer. But that's that done. We are back to one big field, hopefully. So we'll get the seeder, or the planter, keep saying that wrong, I'll get there in the end. We will get the planter hooked up to the white, and we will get that field of sunflowers planted. Okay, cultivator dropped back off. Let's swap with the John Deere. Do you know what? I'm having a horrible feeling now that this might not be a direct drive planter. It could be that we need to run the cultivator over it before we do this. Now, we'll soon find out. In fact, I will drive into the field onto some of the grassy bits and just do a check with this. I am slightly cautious. We might have to go back and cultivate all of this, but let's unfold it first. Nice little animation there as it unfolds. And as you can see, that is much wider than the old one. We'll power it up and we'll drop it down. And as you can see, it's not direct drive. So, I'll just do a double check. Drop it on here. Yep, it's planting there. So, it looks like we are going to have to cultivate the whole field. Sunflowers growing, and it will be fully fertilised, so that's good. But it means a little bit more work before we get started with this. So I'll fold it back up, I'll dump it back over here and get the cultivator going. Typical, right? Now, because of the size of the field and the fact that that cultivator is quite small, I've just made an exec decision to get the big guns out. I'm going to plough this field. It doesn't need ploughing, but actually for speed, with the much wider plough here, we can get through this a lot quicker. So we will throw this into the field. We'll make very short work of it, and we will we'll take it from there. So while he's doing this, we'll get the mower set up, and we will get stuck in with the mowing in the other field.
Fly.
Okay, so he's on his merry way there. Looks like there is a good crop of grass in here, so we're going to make a bit of money out of this. So we're going to leave him to it for now. We're going to check on the plough again now, but he must be almost finished, which means that we can get in there and get those sunflowers finally planted. So we've just jumped back. As you can see, one tiny little strip left there that we need to cover off. That bit there he will miss. That's obviously a turn on a corner, so we'll go back and grab that. This will be his last pass here. I'm not sure what course play is set to, whether or not it'll just stop when he gets to the end of his row or he'll head back to the start point. But I expect there's probably corners down at the bottom we need to just tidy up as well. So what I might just do, rather than wait for him to finish here, in fact, that's exactly where he stopped. So we will turn him off here, turn the HUD back on, turn him off, straight away unfold it again, loop round here, grab that, just that little bit there, and like I said, I think there's a couple bits down at the bottom as well to grab, so we'll grab those. There we go, nice and easy. Does look good though. He's made short work of that. There we go, field finished. We'll pop him back in his outdoor parking space. Like I said, there's a shed in the offing here somewhere. Turn him off, and we will go back and get that planter fired up. So there we go, second time today we are hooking this planter up and getting it dropped into position. Hopefully this time we'll have no issues. I doubt we will now. There we go, all lined up, ready to go. Let's get planting.
I call you up in the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start.
Okay, there we go. First lap done. You'll see here actually where it did its turn to get lined up. He's actually dumped a few sunflowers over there in the barley field, which is going to cause us a bit of a headache when it comes to combining this, because we're going to have a couple of sunflowers sitting in our barley, but we'll just have to deal with that when it arrives. But he's running well, quite liking that model. It doesn't look like there's a dirt map on it. Looks like it's going to stay very clean, unless it does it very slowly. We'll keep an eye on that, which is a little bit of a shame. Might have to go in and tweak that. But it's running nicely, and that extra width is definitely coming in handy. We've got a little bit of an overlap on the headlands, but in principle it looks like that was a decent upgrade, well worth spending that money on. And to be honest, it wasn't much money at all, really, was it? So that is running nicely. We're going to let that keep going, and we'll go just pop back over to field 10, see how quickly the mower's getting on. It is a massive field, that. But what we might do as well is just go and prep the baler. I might put the baler on the big tractor this time and run that up there in readiness for when the mower's finished. So we'll run this guy just down and grab the baler out of the shed here, and then we'll head up to field 10 and see what's what. I really need to landscape that corner. Kind of driving over it a little bit maverickly. Going to do some damage to my equipment, but there we go. Let's just run in here and grab this. Hooked up. Nicely done. If you remember, that was a bit of a tight squeeze in there. That looks a little bit more realistic than the little white towing the baler like it did last time. So we'll run this down, just bring up the HUD as well actually. No, we're good. I was going to say, how are we for repairs and for fuel, but we're looking good. Actually, I might just reverse and check the repair on the baler. We have used this quite a bit recently, and I can't remember if I repaired it last time. Let's just drop it in there. We'll just make sure. Yeah, look, that was well worth doing. It's not a cheap repair, that. $600, but worthwhile. We'll do a better job for us in the field. And like I said, what we're going to do with this, when the time is right, we are going to get this baling, which you can do standard way with Courseplay. But what we'll want to do is do a bale pickup, wrap, and auto load using Courseplay, which we have never done before. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's probably likely to be in the live stream on Wednesday that we'll give that a go. But for now, we're just going to keep going and get as much done as possible. Feeling really productive again, getting all of this stuff ready for the next harvest, so things are coming together very nicely indeed. Okay, here we are. We'll just pull in here. Mower's still doing headlands, so we need to keep well out of the way really. So I'm going to actually kind of park him slightly in the bushes here, so that when we do move on to up and down rows, he's not encroaching too much on the path that the John Deere needs to take. But here he comes, looking good though, and like I said, the crop on here looks fantastic. So there's the Massey. Looking forward to getting that fired up again, and it always looks good on the 8760, doesn't it? So we will, I think, call it there for this episode. Lots on the go, lots to do, and things are looking good. But we're setting ourselves up for a rather fun live stream on Wednesday next week. So for now, from me, the Farm Sim Guy, thank you very much, as always, for watching. It is much appreciated. And I will see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.